Alright, gonna get a chain on this thing and get the old auger pulled out. We need to put a new one in. So we got secure, making sure we're not gonna smack the grain cart while we're doing it. And we're actually getting pretty close. So we'll make a little adjustment. And now we're starting to get it pulled out. Telling Dad to go up. Keep going up. You're clear. Good to go. I got a rope here I'm going to use to hold it when it comes out of there. It doesn't swing back and hit the tractor or me. So getting it out of there. An up close shot with my phone. There we go. So it's sliding out. See the rusty spot there? That's where it bolts on. Now it's coming out pretty good. Not much trouble getting it out. No big deal. 3 bolts hold it on the top. It just sets on the drive from the gearbox at the bottom. Now I got the rope attached. Take the weight of it here. Try to direct it away from the tractor when it comes out. And we missed. So good. No harm done there. So old one is out. I gotta zip the bolts that hold on the bearing and the kind of carrier, whatever you want to call it there, to keep it centered in the tube. One bolt out. And this bolt wasn't very good. The head was pretty kind of oddly shaped, so bye-bye threads. I'm going to get a different bolt anyway. Punch that one out of there. Come on, there we go. Now I have to pound this out and get it into the new one. So a little assistance from some WD-40 here. Got it part way out. A little bit more there. It's actually coming out pretty easy. I thought it'd be like really frozen in there. It's been in there for over a decade, but it's coming out. Not too bad. A few more smacks of the hammer on that big chunk of metal there. That's where there's actually a dog that comes down from the folding part of the auger that engages that part I'm hitting. And that's what makes the top auger turn. And it's going back in pretty easy. Kind of surprised. Usually things don't come apart and go back together that easy sometimes when you're putting 2 pieces of metal together. So, just about got it back in there. Now I just need to get my bolt holes lined up, which was pretty easy. Set them to the right torque spec with that electric impact there. Perfect. So I got everything swapped over to the new auger. Take a look at the difference. The main difference is, so this gets driven off these 2 pins here, which this sat down on the gearbox before. Those splines in there. So those pins went in here. This actually broke last year. We had the welding shop fix this up. But now, it's a little better system than just the 2 pins. There's like a collar. It sits down on the spline of the gearbox, and it has 5 points of engagement instead of just 2. There's the new part that drives it with the 5 pins. You see that just sits on there. The gearbox is on the other side here. It kind of gets driven there and then angles up to this way. So we just got to slip the auger back down in the tube and align those pins. It'll be good to go. And this one actually had a roll pin Dad punched out that I suppose on newer ones they must have a longer shaft where the roll pin goes through the shaft. I don't think that's going to come off of there because the auger's sitting on it. So just set it in there, set the auger on top, and we should be good. This bearing that goes over the shaft, it wouldn't take grease last year, so while we had everything apart, took the opportunity to pull this off. There was just a bunch of old hard grease in there that was preventing anything from going through. So got that and a new zircon grease now, and it moves freely. It didn't move at all on there before, so That's probably an improvement. The main reason for a replacement was the bottom of this bottom auger. You can see it's getting wavy and it's pretty thin in spots, especially here at the bottom, even all the way at the top. It's pretty thin there. So the new one, much thicker, good to go, especially if we're doing popcorn, seed beans, stuff like that. We want to limit our damage. So now all we have to do is pick up the new auger with the loader, slip it back in. I'm guessing the hardest part will be getting these aligned. This bolts into the top of the tube. We're going to get 3 new bolts because the others are pretty worn, because the heads of the bolts are here and the grain's always going past. So I think our cart's a 2008 or 2009, so it's had all that grain all those years pushed past it. So they're a little bit rounded off, so we'll put some new ones in there. Okay, new auger ready to go in. We're struggled a little bit getting the correct angle here where we could clear the bump out at the top of the cart and get things right. I can kind of push it all the way up there, but I don't really want to be directly under the loader in the auger because I would like to not die or have heavy pieces of steel dropped on my head. So yeah, this was Dad's idea. Take the rope I used before, and this auger actually has a couple loops welded on it, little half circles welded on it. I'm guessing they're just for picking it up with chains or something. The other one didn't have that, but gonna hook the rope on one end there, and then we're actually gonna put it through one of the 3 holes that the carrier for the top of the auger ties to, that centers it in the tube like I mentioned before. So actually just gonna stick that rope in there once Dad gets me smart enough to know what he's thinking. There we go. Good job, Brian. Figured it out. So poked it through. Got it. Now I can pull the auger over with, I got a lot more leverage here, and I don't have to stand in the danger zone, which is a good idea. So kind of got to get it pushed in there, get it over the open part of the tube, and then we can start lowering it in. Okay. Now I think we've got it. It sits down a couple times. We've got to tweak it a few times to get it to go in. Now we're making progress. Had to get the chain the right length off the loader bucket too, so we could get the loader high enough to get in there. Yeah, now we need a little help, so I'm calling Dad over. You can get a pry bar here. It's just sitting on the lip of the tube, so needs a little help. There we go. Now it's starting to fall in place. Another little adjustment. Looking good there. Now we're getting it dropped in. I've taken my rope off. Once it got settled in there, I took the rope off so it wouldn't go down the tube with it. Now I need to pry some of that flighting off the edge of the tube. It's wanting to kind of ride on the bottom edge of the tube, because until we get it bolted up, it's not going to be centered in the tube, because all that thing on the top there, that brace on the top holds it, and then it just sits down on the drive pins at the bottom. So it's not bolted at the bottom, it just aligns on the drive pins and then the 3 bolts at the top. Yeah, walk under the loader bucket. Don't do that. I usually try to go around when I can. There, dropped in, didn't lose my hand, which is good. Now things are looking better. You can see that brace is on the wrong side, so it's going to get hung up here in a minute, and we have to rehook and turn it around. There's a close-up shot of it going in, and we got to get it down a little more. It's pretty close to the grain cart from where I'm standing anyway. Now it's nice and clear, so now we can get it dropped all the way in. And actually it's good that it rested on that, because we needed to unhook the chain because it was kind of bound up between that thick metal piece and the bearing swiveling around the shaft. So we wouldn't be able to, we couldn't turn that brace anyway because the chain was bound up on it. Now we're coming in from a different angle, rehook. Just gonna take the weight off of the cart here, get it back on the tractor just enough so I can turn that brace around. And I'm wishing I had my gloves because some of that is pretty sharp from the wear on it, but we're good. Drop that back down in there. I didn't have my GoPro handy, so didn't get video of us aligning those 3 bolt holes, but it wasn't too bad once we got them in there. There's another piece of metal that slides behind that brace, sandwiching that in the tube.
Yes, there.
Boom.
And now,
It's all the way down now.
headed for the scrap pile. 9420R on. New auger is in. Check it out. Just about ready to go. Fresh auger, good to go.